This was my first sighting of a marsh harrier gliding over the reed beds at Leighton Moss RSPB Reserve near Carnforth in Lancashire. In flight, the shallow V of its wings is a characteristic of this broad-winged bird. The shelduck is a large goose-like duck with striking pied plumage. Its usual habitat is estuaries and sandy or muddy coasts, so this particular bird may have flown in from nearby Morecambe Bay. The tufted duck is a common sight on our ponds and lakes. The black and white male bird has a characteristic long drooping crest on its head. The female is brown, and its crest is shorter than the male's. It is often seen diving in search of molluscs and insect larvae. As with most birds, the female chaffinch is much plainer than the male bird. It usually feeds on seeds and insects. Blue tits are one of our most common garden birds to be seen at bird tables and feeders. The larger great tit is suitably named. The towering chalk cliffs at Bempton on the Yorkshire coast become multi-storey nurseries in May, June and July every year as vast numbers of seabirds gather to breed. Kittiwake gulls are the most numerous birds to inhabit the cliff ledges, and their characteristic calls fill the air. The kittiwake, named after its call, is a most attractive small gull. Other than the breeding season, it spends all its time out at sea. The simple nest clings perilously to the ledge, but still vigilant parents will usually raise 2 chicks. Like all members of the auk family, the guillemot only inhabits the cliffs during the breeding season. The rest of the year is spent out at sea. Another auk is the razorbill, which is distinguished from the guillemot by its jet black back and head. A third member of the auk family is the puffin, which is unmistakable with its parrot-like beak and bright orange legs and feet. Although often seen on the cliff face, the puffin's nest will usually be in a burrow on a grassy slope at the top of the cliff. However, it is known that a few puffins do nest in holes in the cliffs at Bempton. The gannet has had great success at establishing a large breeding colony at the Bempton Cliffs RSPB Reserve, the colony having spread along much of the reserve in the last 20 years or so. Clinging tenaciously to a cluster of buddleia flowers, this small insect could be mistaken for a bee, which is exactly what this hoverfly wants predators to think. I believe this particular hoverfly may be a drone fly, due to its resemblance to a honeybee drone. Other hoverflies have much brighter yellow markings which mimic wasps, but they do not have a sting, so are quite harmless. The mother of pearl moth is usually seen around nettles and other rough vegetation at dusk between June and August, but it is not uncommon in daylight if it has been disturbed. chestnut coloured chin and throat confirms this bird to be a swallow, although it does not have the long tail streamers of an adult bird. Consequently, it must be a juvenile. Moorhens are of the family of crakes and rails. They are a familiar sight at Yeadon Tarn, where they coexist with the related coots. The moorhen's distinct red bill with yellow tip and their smaller size distinguish them from the coots. A winter visitor, the goosander, is the largest of the saw-billed ducks, so named as the bill has tiny serrations along the inner edge. This is a male duck. The female has a brown head and neck. Goosanders dive frequently in search of fish. Inland freshwater lakes are their usual winter habitat, and 2 or 3 pairs have visited Yeadon Tarn. It is a graceful, streamlined bird, swimming low in the water, and contrasts greatly with the regular ducks on this lake. Waxwings are irregular winter visitors to our island, but the last couple of hard winters have seen them throughout the country in quantity. This particular flock appeared about midday, feasted on the berries on these trees, then flew off after a couple of hours. Close observation of these attractive starling-sized birds will reveal the red sealing wax-like tips to the wing coverts, this giving them their unusual name. Hear the bell-like trill, a super bird to brighten a dull winter's day. It is no surprise how the dipper got its name, with its characteristic bobbing before plunging into the river to seek a meal of aquatic insects and their larvae. This was a case of being in the right place at the right time. Along came this female goosander with her family of young ducklings. A curious pied wagtail looks on from nearby. What a delightful sight! Thanks to the reintroduction of red kites on the Harewood estate, they are regularly seen along Wharfdale and surrounding areas. It feeds on rodents, birds and carrion. It is not unusual to see 2 or 3 trying to recover roadkill victims in the manner of vultures. A truly magnificent bird, and a fitting finale to this compilation of simply wild images.